Maggie Haves was the perfect preschool for my son and for our family, to be honest. I was a little overwhelmed when I was initially looking at different preschools, and there's all different kinds of preschools, and oh my gosh, who's going to what preschool? And, I didn't know. And I was so kind of overwhelmed, but I had my eye on this one school that a lot of friends had gone to and was close to our house, and, okay. But I didn't feel that special sparkly feeling that you really want to feel when you're choosing a preschool or choosing any kind of school for your child. And I had a girlfriend who reached out to me and said, Jennifer, before you make your decision, I really think you should take a tour of Maggie Haves. That's where my boys go. And she was a very good friend of mine, and her kids were a little bit older. And I am so forever grateful to her for suggesting that, because from the moment of that first tour, I knew that this was the place I was looking for. I wanted an environment where my son could thrive and learn how to be a human being. And I could, frankly, learn how to be a parent and to support the kind of child that I wanted to raise. And Maggie Haves is all of those things and more. It is such a special community. You feel welcomed from the first moment you walk through that sweet little door. And you're heard and your child is seen and they are celebrated, which is awesome. There were so many different types of personalities in my son's class over the few years that we were there, and each child was heard and was seen and was celebrated, and that gave me so much joy. I made some of my dearest friends while at Maggie Haves, and our kids, while we've gone on to different elementary schools, we continue to play on sports teams together and play together. But what was so special for us about Maggie Haves is that my son learned how to be a human being in this world. He feels safe, he feels seen, he learned empathy, he learned how to communicate his feelings. The autonomy that my son learned at Maggie Haves, I will forever be grateful for. I don't feel like he's just trying to be a good child for me to make me happy. He is his own person. He is confident in that own person. And Maggie Haves gave not only my husband and I, but also our son, the tools to be able to have that communication at such a young age, that he is so secure in who he is as a person. He feels heard by us. When there is a problem, we're able to talk through it in a way that, I couldn't even fathom doing with someone who is 3, 4, 5, and now, my son is 6. And the practice of letter writing, which I'm sure you will hear about when you're on your tour or as you meet with them and talk further, has been such a blessing in our home. Anytime there's a big, difficult emotion, my son is able to sit down and kind of tell me what he wants to tell me through the dictation of writing this note, whether it be to me or to a friend or to my husband. He's really able to express everything that he is feeling on the inside, his wonders and his worries, the vocabulary that he learned from being at the school. It's just, this school provides your child with that magical play necessary to learn and to work through so many things. The setups that he comes up with even now are so magical. As a type A, as we've gotten into Legos, I get so stressed after we build these beautiful Legos. He wants to just tear them apart and start creating something of his own. And I've just had to step back and revel in the creativity that he learned at Maggie Haves. Oh, one of my favorite stories, because the teaching staff is spectacular. Your child will feel so loved, will feel so seen and heard and supported. His last year there in Triangle Room, Jim and Cecilia were his teachers, and Jim noticed that the kids were really enjoying finding things in the play yard. So they would dig through the sand and find some crazy rock or some little something that had been left over from maybe an art class or something. But to them, it was treasures and gems, and they loved the pirates and the pirate ship and everything. And Jim, noticing that these kids were creating so much joy and game and play from these gems, he would go out before school and bury 100 gyms every single day while these kids were interested in the gyms. And to this day, we have jars full of all of the gyms that Jim and probably Cecilia buried for our kids. And they're just, each one's a little treasure and is so special. And that's really what your child is to Maggie Haves. Your children are treated like treasures, and they're so special, and they're just allowed to be kids. And I can't tell you enough how special this place is, and how you will leave so sad, of course, but you will be so grateful for your time there and for everything that you learned. I am in awe of how big my child's imagination, heart, and just zest for life is because of how nurtured he was at Maggie Haves. It's such a special place. I'm so excited for you, and I can't recommend it enough. I mean, I wish I had more kids to send to Maggie Haves, because it is a special place, and I miss it. And I'm so grateful for all of the wonderful things that it has brought to our family and to our life. And I wish you the best.